Welcome back. You're here with Goldberg. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Star Wars movie. There are going to be some spoilers, obviously. I don't think anyone cares at this stage, but I thought I would do the disclaimer nonetheless. It begins on the title scroll with "The Dead Speak," which is a good metaphor for the entire trilogy, if you ask me. To begin, bigger is not always better. You can have one Star Destroyer chasing the Tantive 4 in the New Hope, and that's really interesting. Or you can have a million CGI images, and it just becomes boring. So the Emperor is living in a sewer, and I guess he was married to Admiral Holdo, but she divorce-cucked him, yet he still has enough money left over in alimony to build all these ships that no one knows about. And yet they're a big threat, the Final Order, that's secret. So Poe and Old Wedge and Pip from Game of Thrones are trying to fight this massive fleet, and they're getting their asses kicked, and Poe's like, "I'm sorry, guys." And then all of a sudden you hear, "Ah, I told you we'd do it." And Lando has like a million ships behind him, because in a couple of hours he was able to rally the entire galaxy to fight the Final Order, which, they're not aware even exists. They don't know who they're fighting for, because we don't see these characters ever being developed, but yeah, whatever, just go with it. And that is kind of the theme of this movie. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars to create something, and yet we still have a horrendous script which makes no sense. In fact, a lot of the script is held up by these committee-based discussions where you already know the outcome, but they have to hash it out just to extend the length of the movie a little bit. And it'll be stuff like, we can't possibly beat the First Order. Yeah, we can if we do it this way. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. Or better yet, these brinkmanship of characters. So it'll be, I have to do this on my own. No, we're going with you. Okay. How many times have you seen that throughout the entire trilogy, and multiple times in the same movie? It becomes cringy. What are you trying to achieve? Shut up and just make a normal story if you can. It's my request. These movies are basically social security for unemployed actors. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Leia has this massive role, like she's a god. I've never understood that. Luke with his old man robes and his cheesy smile. Han Solo, of course, and then Lando. And none of the new characters get a chance to actually develop, because they're basically fanboys following around the geriatrics, reliving the old days so they can pick up some paychecks. It's not compelling at all. In fact, you have the scene where they land on this planet which is based on the Middle East and I guess Muslim or Arab culture. It sounds like it. They all have the head coverings, the face masks, but I was disappointed by this because they're portrayed as pigs, and as an empowered liberal that bothered me a great deal. But this stormtrooper comes out of nowhere and he's like, "You're under arrest." And someone shoots him in the eye with a crossbow, and the guy's like, "Follow me." And all our heroes, they don't question anything, they just go after him into his house. And he takes the hat off and he's like, "Lando Calrissian." And the first thing out of Finn's mouth is this, "It's an honor to meet you, sir." Like, dude, you're a character. Why are you acting like he's some celebrity? You're getting the autograph of Obama or something. You are supposed to be a hero yourself. Why are you pretending like you're basically running around in a cosplay convention? That type of stuff bothers the hell out of me, because it just seems to be where all that Disney cares about is trying to squeeze, nostalgia, instead of creating an actually interesting space adventure story, Palpatine, no one knows who Palpatine is. He's blind, he's attached to a robot, but we're all supposed to be obsessed with him as a threat. But he hasn't been around for the rest of the trilogy, so, yeah, okay. Remember Plinkett saying, "It's good to show contempt for your audience." So, this includes Rose, who no one liked. If they had made her sister the cute pilot, the bomber at the beginning of the other movie, yeah, that would have made some sense. But instead they do the PC thing, give the middle finger. Let's take the girl who's kind of heavy-set with a weird haircut and, not really likable, and we'll make her a main character, and we'll insist that you accept her. So she serves no purpose. Then there's the fat kind of fake Wedge guy who's played by Samuel Tarley, and he walks up and he's like, "Things aren't going good." And her and Leia say, "Stop right now and say that optimistically." And he has to repeat himself like an idiot. So basically they womansplain to him. She has no purpose, she's annoying, but they put her there anyway. Then we have Finn. I've never understood the purpose of this character. He's not a love interest to Rey because she's a strong, independent woman. He's not Luke Skywalker because he never really develops his powers. he's not Han Solo because you have Poe. He's just the guy with the kind of confused, annoyed moron face walking around in the movie. And really, what is the role of this guy meant to be? But I suppose he could always act like, the dude who pranked Catfish. He's like, "Don't forget, you can always be my dark chocolate kiss." That's just a suggestion. And then you have the orange alien who was meant to be kind of like Yoda, but she's not anymore. And she serves no purpose except at the end she gives a flirty smile towards Chewbacca, and he kind of does a seductive grin back, so maybe they're going to have a romance in the future, and Chewbacca can be the power bottom. There's something to think about. What else do we have here? New characters that are introduced and basically serve no purpose except to advance one particular scene. We already saw that with Benicio del Toro, who's not in this movie. Then we have a couple of aliens at the beginning on the Falcon, who one of them disappears, the other one is British, and then his head gets cut off and put on the Imperial table. And it's just a joke seeing this dinosaur head on the Imperial table as they're trying to be all serious and reenact the choking scene. You've got Billy Boyd, or is it Dominic Monaghan? Mistin Shadow. I guess he's still getting roles somehow. He just goes around looking confused. Zam Wesell, who wants to kill Poe and then turns around, decides to join him right after, and he's like, "Hey, do you think I could kiss you?" And she's like, "No." I guess this is how progressive males date. Like, you don't just wait for a moment and then kind of lean in or pull her towards you, because that's offensive. You say, "Can I kiss you? May I polish your apple?" Yeah, it just, any way you find love, that's fantastic. And what else? Then we have this, or I should say, there's the whole part where the revelation that Poe Dameron was a spice trader, and everyone's like, "Ooh," as though anyone would care. When did a spice trader become a big deal, right? Then we have the empowered black woman who comes out at the end, who used to be a stormtrooper, and he's like, "We had this feeling, and when we just decided to, throw down our weapons." Like, don't you think the Empire, if they had all these mass defections, would be, going back to clones, maybe? The most ridiculous scene is when her and Finn start running on the side of the Star Destroyer, shooting people. That's how the movie pretty much ends, with no oxygen masks or anything. We just throw every rule out because it's Star Wars, but it's our version of Star Wars. And then, of course, going back to the stories real quick, because you have these little subplots that make no sense and don't really help. They actually make your characters look stupid. So Kylo Ren wants to talk to Rey, and he chases her to the desert planet, which has a nice sequence where they're being chased by the stormtroopers. But he's like, "I just want to talk to you, so I'm going to try to ram into you with my TIE fighter." And they fight a little bit, and then at the same time, Chewbacca's been taken prisoner by the First Orbiters, and he's put on a transport. And they have this weird scene where, Kylo's trying to push the transport, and Rey's trying to pull it back, and who's going to pull out first? And she's more powerful as usual, so she blows it up. Well, everyone starts crying. She's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to fry Chewie." The very next scene, you see the First Orbiters like, "We captured this valuable prisoner, Chewbacca." Why would Chewbacca be valuable? Chewbacca's just basically a big puppy dog. They're going to send him to the spice mines, or they're going to put him in another pit. You know how they said that Chewbacca was a flesh-eating beast who had to be tamed in the last movie, which I thought was kind of disgusting. Why would Chewbacca be a big deal? So, at the same time, the next scene, all the heroes are downtrodden and crying, "We gotta revenge Chewie, this is for Chewie." So you're making your heroes look like idiots. Rey, for all her power, cannot understand that Chewbacca wasn't on that transport, even though he's like a mile away. See, this is the problem when you don't think through any of your scenes properly. You just mash it together because you want an excuse to create a movie. Let's see. Then you have the whole Kylo and Rey fight on Waterfar planet, and they're having this battle, and then she takes the Christian cross saber and impales him. And he's like, "Why did you do that?" And she's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to kill you, I just wanted to stab you." So she then automatically heals him. I bet Qui-Gon would have liked to know about that. Stay off the gin, my friend. why would you kill a guy and then bring him back to life right away? That just kind of destroys the whole moment, if you ask me. Oh, you're just asking me, though, of course. What else do we have here? Oh, the droids are people. C-3PO. I have to say goodbye to my friends. So his memory is going to be wiped, and then a few moments later, his memory is restored. So another emotional moment that goes to nothing because there was no risk at all. I guess there was no danger after all. Yeah, remember how that went. Yeah, Poe, we have each other. We've got to stand together. A noose behind Chewbacca in the holding cell. I didn't understand that. Help me, Leia. I can't do it without you. When did Leia become a deity? I won't hate Palpatine. You won't make me a hater. But then she says, I gotta kill Palpatine. And Finn's like, that don't sound like you. But later on, her and Kylo kill the Emperor and genocide all the Sith. So I guess it's okay to kill people as long as they're bad. Or you think they're evil, right? Because all those Sith were also evil. The ones in the audience. Yeah. You got the whole man versus woman thing. So Kylo Ren, and this is the thing. Rey is a fairly attractive girl. When she gets angry, she looks like Hugo Weaving before he's had morning coffee. Mr. Rayerson. But Kylo Ren, in contrast, nothing against Adam Driver, who seems like a good guy. But there's this video of some weird dude on Reddit or 4chan who's complaining that people say he's ugly. And really, Adam Driver, he's not an attractive guy. He's the type of dude, most of you, if he was an actor, you'd say, he must be an incel. He's got I call him Benadryl boy because he always looks like he's got the purple lips, like he's been in the cold too long. He hasn't dried his hair. He's got the big nose, the beady eyes. He wears a mask, which he doesn't really need, just to look like Darth Vader, and then puts it on, takes it off again. He's always getting his ass kicked. He kisses a girl, finally, and then he dies. That's kind of like the modern American male. And you're like, why are they so threatened by a strong male character? If you see all these guys, Poe, Finn, they're always being basically castrated by women. They're always being put in their place. Why are they so threatened by a guy who just does what he wants? So I guess that's why Kylo Ren had to die, because he was potentially too powerful, or he could do too many things, and that was a risk. So, yeah, Han Solo says, come on, son, come on, Ben, come back to us. I don't know if I'm strong enough. Who writes these movies? I'd love to know. Lando, send Leia my love, but she's dead, so I guess he's going to go after the empowered woman with the hair. Is she, I don't know if I said this before, is she the girl from Solo at the end, the 11-year-old fighting the cartels, or is that someone else? Who knows? Finally, hands and hugs, they all hug at the end, and if you notice, you see Poe and Rey's hands together, which I guess makes Finn like a third wheel. I was hoping the whole romance between Finn and Poe would work out, because it would be kind of like, I heard that Ben Shapiro and Rob Smith are now an item, they're dating, they're in love, which is beautiful, and tolerance of the First Order. So, this movie is definitely, it's going to make you laugh. You might get kicked out of theater if you just start guffawing too much, but at any rate, it was an interesting study of how bad filmmaking has become. Even if you're Disney with hundreds of millions of dollars, you still cannot get it right.